Welcome back to your weekend edition TTS Daily with me, Yi. A bit of a background change for the weekend. And only 2 stories today. By the way, happy SG60, okay? It's Singapore's National Day. And we have 2 stories today. First, an update on the chicken bone saga over at Malaysia, over the content creators and their so-called collaboration skit with the homeless man. We have some startling finds. And next, we have this story about how, it's SG60 and there were many rehearsal days where, there were fireworks, and apparently there is one store that might have utilized the reserved public space not in the ideal manner. Anyway, let's kick things off. Alright, here's an update on the chicken bones saga. The 3 content creators that gave a homeless man a rice with chicken bones in it, right? And then everyone was outraged with them and they say, no, it was all a skit. The homeless man knew about it, were aware of it, And now they're under investigations by MCMC. And we have some startling finds thanks to China Press Malaysia. So China Press Malaysia went to interview the homeless man, okay? And they asked the homeless man if the homeless man knew that he was going to be given like a bowl of rice and 2 whole fried chickens, before the whole video was taken place. Because in the apology video of the creators, right, they claim that, he already knew beforehand. It was a collaboration. It was a pack-up, a skit. And the man said this, okay? And I quote from this, "I didn't know what their intentions were. I thought they were giving me food, so I opened it and saw it was chicken rice, but it had a lot of bones. I thought in the apology video, the homeless man should be aware that this was a skit, that you are giving him a bowl of rice with bones in it, and later you will give him a whole bowl of rice with 2 fried chickens. I thought he was aware of it. It doesn't seem so by the way it is spoken here, okay?" And the homeless man also added that the 3 content creators later returned to apologize for the incident. So it does seem from here that the reaction of the homeless man opening the packet of rice to find the chicken bones in it was his genuine reaction to, being surprised, like, why is it just rice with bones? And it's not like a collaboration skit like what the apology video was mentioning, So, and of course, this homeless man had more humility than the content creators. He even defended them by saying, "To me, they are my brothers." And he also tried to explain that now they are being probed for the video and not their attitude. So, just kudos to this guy, He's trying his best, not wanting to get them into further trouble, but he has to tell the truth. And the truth is, he wasn't aware that it was going to be a collaboration skit until it was over, it seems, You should understand that the context here varies very greatly. There is a difference between, you approaching the homeless man telling him, "Hey bro, we're going to do a skit. Can you do a skit with us? We're going to do this, give you this packet of rice with chicken bones in it, but we will give you a full meal later," okay? Versus, just giving him, capturing his genuine response, and like what this man said, later coming back to apologize because he wasn't aware. He really thought there was food inside. These 2 very different contexts. And by the way, either route A or route B, both were bad, because this is a person in need. And even if he agreed to the skit, that would also be him doing a skit when he himself is super underprivileged, and he would also be in a position where he will not feel great doing so, You are actually putting him down, humiliating him, be it whether he knew about it or not. But now apparently so, he doesn't know about it. Well, you claim that he did knew about it. Next up, we have another interview here where the man says here that there were no negotiations, and the reporter asked him, "Did they give you any money?" He said no. No money, no negotiation. And then in this little clip, the creators were asked here, "Oh, so did you show him the rice with the bones inside first?" And the creators say, "Yes, we show him first." But what did the man just say by the report on China Press? He opened up the packet of rice and was surprised to find chicken rice with a lot of bones in it. So what was this claim by them here? Watch again. They were being asked, "So he knows there is chicken rice with bones in it already?" And they say yes. And after that, they even added on, I even gave him $100. But you see this man's interview here? No money, no negotiation. I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at understanding things, but you tell me what is actually going on here. And I think it's best we just let MCMC continue with their investigations. But this here gives us a lot of context to ponder about. As you know, it's National Day today, SG60, and before SG60, almost every weekend there have been rehearsals. And you know what's the best part about the rehearsals? The fireworks. So a lot of people have been going out over the weekends, over the past weeks to catch the fireworks. Then there was one Shake Shack customer at Fullerton named Bai in her 30s that alleged that she was pushed and rudely told to leave a reserve area by Shake Shack staff at the One Fullerton outlet while trying to film the National Day Parade fireworks on August 2nd, 2025. So apparently this Shake Shack area has two outdoor areas. One is the alfresco dining area, which was already fully booked, and there was another outside area which is like a reserve area. It's actually like a public space, but it was cordoned off and making it into like a reserve area, you know, just for safety's sake, because it was really, really crowded. And the alfresco area, apparently, to sit there, you need to have a sitting package with a minimum spend, which the Shake Shack doesn't really share, but allegedly, from what people hear when other passerbys ask them, you know, like how much to, you know, the minimum spend for there, allegedly it goes from $20, $30 to even $50. I do not know, is this by group or by per person? By group is still quite manageable, but if it's by per person, I have no idea. And also, this is a fast food. This is the first time I'm hearing that there is a minimum spend for a fast food restaurant, although Shake Shack is one of the most premium fast foods out there. Yes, you should know by the prices, right? Anyway, this customer Bai only spent $10.40 Singapore dollars, so she was denied access to the reserve area. But you know, during the fireworks there, you know, around 8 p.m, Bai moved near to the reserve area's edge to film the fireworks, standing outside. It's still outside the boundaries, but near the edge, which got one staff member allegedly upset, raised his voice and told her to get out in Mandarin. And she also claimed she was pushed and she found it really aggressive and humiliating. So Bai has stated that she did not obstruct views of other patrons or bystanders nearby, or she also didn't enter the reserve area. And she also asking whether is it right that you monetize public spaces like this reserve area. This is not the alfresco area here, okay? This is a reserve area. Now, she was so upset that she wrote a letter to URA, and URA replied that, you know, they will refer this matter to One Fullerton as they're in charge of this to further discuss with the tenant in question, you know, whether this is okay or not. And Shake Shack has responded that they are conducting their own internal review, and also claims that, you know, if this is true, such behavior doesn't reflect their whole standards. And they did confirm the reserve area was with clear signage and so forth. Once again, sitting packages. I'm just surprised. A fast food with sitting packages. This reminds me when, you know, when I was still partying and clubbing, and when you go into the party place, or should I say club, then, you know, the different sofa seats or areas will be cordoned off with different minimum spends, you know, minimum spendings. This is like, man, is this a thing? I'm not really sure, because during NDP rehearsals, I usually don't go in with the crowd to catch the fireworks. But knowing this, I mean, by the way, the URA also said this. This is in the email response from URA to Bai. They say that during the NDP preview and actual day celebration, certain areas around Marina Bay might be cordoned off, you know, like in such case, the reserve area. But commercial establishments are not permitted to impose any minimum spending for the use of these public spaces that have turned into reserve spaces, it seems. Wow, so okay, just take note for the next NDP, please.